Hopefully this video won't be too long, but I do have some stories I want to share. When I was 17, this was 2018, I lived in Los Angeles with my mom for September, October, November, December. But if in my memory it felt very long. I remember this feeling like a whole era of my life, even though it was just a few months. It was freshly off The Voice right after everything had aired. And it was that fall where the next season was about to start airing. I don't even remember how it kind of occurred that I wanted to move to LA and that my mom was willing to go with me. And why she said yes. But it was a super cool opportunity, and I'm so glad that we went and able to experience everything. I would definitely love to go back someday, but I just want to tell you a few stories that really stand out to me and that I think would be interesting to tell you about. I do want to mention I am from Northern California, but Los Angeles County, Orange County, that was all pretty new territory for me other than living down there for The Voice for a few months. This was a totally different experience where I got to go out and meet people. So one of the main ways that I first went out and met people was through open mics. I remember once we first moved in, I would Google all of the open mics nearby, write them down in my notebook, try and go to an open mic almost every day. Usually wouldn't be able to, but I would always try and search for one and think of what would be the next closest open mic. I specifically remember the very first open mic, and I went to tons of open mics down there, and I still am friends with some people from those open mics. But I remember the first one very specifically. It was this huge room of tons of people. I remember I was sitting next to this older guy who was like, he had a regular 9-to-5 job, but he liked to come out in the evenings and play these open mics. And I remember so specifically when he got up and played his song. It was so like heart-wrenching to me. The song was called Loserville, and he sang this line. The chorus was basically, "We gotta get out of Loserville." The whole idea of the song was about pursuing your dreams and not working a 9-to-5 and doing something bigger and something that you're passionate about. And I remember it hit me so hard hearing this guy that I had just been talking to sing this song about getting out of Loserville and pursuing his dreams. It was a really pivotal moment for me right at the start of my journey there, and feeling like we were all in Loserville at that moment. I hope this guy's doing well. I don't know who he is, or I don't have any information, but I do want him to know that that song stuck with me, and I still think about it to this day. And so I wanted to share that with you. We gotta get out of Loserville. Another way of meeting people or just getting yourself out there is busking or playing on the street. I remember I've got a permit in order to play on the street, and I think I only busked one time while I was living down there. If you've never busked before, it's definitely a different vibe than any other kind of performing. Nobody really wants you there. Nobody really pays attention. And that's fine, obviously, but you do occasionally meet some really interesting people. I remember like on that day that I went busking, one guy came up to me and he said, "You have bigger balls than I do." Like, I could never come up here and just start singing. I think I made like $2 though, so we weren't getting rich off of that. I was also working with this writing group, which I still am in contact with, and they're really awesome. And they had connections with an artist that I really liked who was on a few seasons before me of The Voice. Darby Walker, I really liked her. She was inspiring to me because she was really unique. That's kind of what I wanted to model myself after when I was on the show. So I really liked her, and then I found out that they had connections with her, and so they got me a writing session with her, and I thought that was super, super cool. We had our writing session together, and I was so stoked. We had so much fun together. Our chemistry was awesome. I was just so excited. Like, how cool is it that this artist that you like and look up to, you can just meet them in a writing session and then get along with super well. So well that even after our writing session, I sat in her car and we just played each other our songs that we'd recorded. And I remember so specifically like sitting in her car while she lit a cigarette and started smoking, listening to my song, swaying her head to it. And I'm like, what is life? This is crazy. Like, just sitting like in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, sitting in the middle of the night, just watching smoke like fly out the window. Like it was I don't know, it was just a real moment. I really love that story. Also throughout this time, I had kind of gotten linked up with this agency. The agency got me linked up with a photographer. The photographer knew this manager guy. That's how things work, apparently. And I had a meeting with this manager, and apparently he was the same guy that like discovered Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez and like got them connections with the Disney Channel. I mean, I was excited to be able to meet him. Like, it's always excited to meet anyone, like not just if they have like connections or whatever. It's just you never know what could happen. So any new meeting is a new possibility, you know? So I was excited to meet. And then my mom and I, we drove to like Beverly Hills, like the richest, fanciest, bougiest, snobbiest place you could think of. It was like this huge hotel, and I swear everyone around me, like I could have sworn everyone was famous or something. Like I feel like there could have been paparazzi everywhere because everyone looked rich, famous, and like little old me was just walking through with my guitar. I don't even know why I had my guitar with me. And yeah, I remember he came up and we talked for a little bit. It was going fine, but as we started talking more and more, I was so discouraged, to put it best. He kept doing this thing where he tried to make everything sound so hard and impossible. He was like, yeah, well, it's really hard to get into this industry, and like I've done it before and it takes a lot of work. Like it's like a lot of work, and you gotta be willing to do a lot of work, and like
it's just really hard.
And I'm like, I know. Like, what should we do about it? Like the whole time I felt like he was just trying to discourage me from working with him. And I'm like, it was just so awful. And I remember having another phone call with him later on, and it was just the same thing. He's being like, well, there is a good thing about like you being a girl because, you know, you can sell more things like perfumes and more marketable. I'm just like, this dude sounds like he is so over it. Like, I don't think he likes what he does at all. Like, he sounds so uninspired, and it makes me so like dead inside the way he talks about everything. And I'm just like, I don't know. He was a nice guy. I just honestly, I remember thinking that like, this is so stupid, but I wanted to like ask. I wish I could have been able to ask like Selena Gomez or Demi Lovato like what they thought of this guy. Like obviously this was years ago for them, but like surely they had an opinion on him, and like maybe what if they like felt the same? They're like, he was just so, I don't know, or maybe he had more energy back then, he was more excited about his work back then, but he just sounds so over it. He hated everything, and yeah, just didn't want to do anything. So we never really talked anymore. I also remember with this photographer that my agency linked me up with, the first time I was supposed to meet with her, I remember we were supposed to drive to, I think it was like a street named Orange Street or something like that. And we ended up driving to like Orange County on like a completely different street. And I remember calling her and being like, hey, so we're here, like, where are you? And she's like, you're in the wrong county. Like, she literally lived in like Hollywood, and we were all the way in Orange County. And I'm like, oh my God, what a horrible first impression. I felt so horrible after that. And then like having me and my mom driving out there, and then like I was just going back home. And by the way, home was the RV park, our RV. Us just driving back home after going out and like being like all excited and nervous to like meet these new people, and then you just go right back home. It's just the most draining and devastating feeling ever. And like it's so crazy that me and my mom, like she went through all that with me. Like she is a real one, I'm telling you. Like that would happen like more times than not, like where we have like a lead or something, like because that's basically what we were doing every day. It's like trying to have a lead on something. Like we'd go to this event or something and then we weren't allowed in, so like we just go home. Like it's just so it's like a war down there, I'm telling you. At least my experience is like constantly trying to prove that you're worth someone's time, and that like it gets exhausting. I mean, it's fun, and then there are other days where like it's exhausting and you're crying and you're in the RV park public bathroom stall crying while everyone around you is showering for the night. Yeah, just wishing that things would be better, you know? That makes it sound like the whole trip was horrible, but it really wasn't. Overall, it was awesome and had a bunch of really great shows, met a bunch of really cool people, had some great nights. I remember one night where one of my friends from The Voice called me up randomly as we were just driving home from whatever it was we were doing that day, and she's like, hey, I have this gig I'm playing. It was like a big show, and she's like, I want you to come sing a song really quick in between my set. Like, I'm giving you some of my set to you so you can perform. And I'm like, dude, that was like my golden ticket moment. I was so excited. We rushed back over to the show and took some of her set, and that was really cool. That was really nice of her. So yeah, not everything was bad. I gotta end on a positive note. Like, there were some really awesome moments for sure. So, but yeah, I just wanted to chat about that a little bit. Hopefully you found it somewhat interesting. Just want to do some more of these little chatty videos, and so yeah, I hope that was worth your time. I'll see you guys soon, and yeah, welcome to my second channel. Hopefully you like it. All right, have a good night, guys.